Berkshire Hathaway goes shopping, Uber expands in food delivery, the FAANG companies get tough on Hong Kong, and Twitter and Walmart get into subscription services. This is a Silver Reports weekly review where we take a look at the headlines that move the markets during the week and all things investment related. On Monday, the bulls got off to a strong start after the three-day weekend. The Dow closed up 459 points, the S&P 500 closed up 49 points, and the Nasdaq closed up 226 points. The Nasdaq registered a new all-time high on the day, closing at 10,433. The sharp rise in the markets came in spite of growing coronavirus cases in Texas, Arizona, and Florida. The spike in cases in Florida caused Miami to roll back its reopening plans. The spike in cases in the U.S. led BlackRock to downgrade U.S. stocks to neutral from overweight. Some news that sparked investors to hit the buy button on Monday came from Berkshire Hathaway, who agreed to purchase Dominion Energy's natural gas pipeline and storage assets for $9.7 billion. Tesla jumped 13% on a JP Morgan upgrade, and news that the company opened up Cybertruck pre-orders in China. The move up in the stock added about $30 billion of value to the automaker, putting the JP Morgan and Deutsche Bank price targets still well below where the stock was trading on Monday. Uber moved on from its failed deal with Grubhub and purchased Postmates for around $2.6 billion. Uber was up 6% on the news. On Tuesday, the markets pulled back with the Dow closing down 396 points, the S&P 500 closing down 34 points, and the Nasdaq closing down 89 points. There was a good amount of negative headlines that impacted the markets on Tuesday. German industrial production data came in at 7.8% for May, well below the 11.1% expectation. Facebook, Google, and Twitter announced that they would suspend processing government requests for user data in Hong Kong. This comes after China's new national security law for Hong Kong. Walmart was on the rise after a report surfaced that the company plans to introduce an Amazon Prime-like subscription service. The service will cost $98 per year and include same-day grocery delivery, fuel discounts at Walmart gas stations, and early access to product deals. And shares of Novak'S were up 31% on news that it had been selected to deliver up to 100 million doses of its late-stage COVID-19 vaccine candidate as a part of the U.S. government's Operation Warp Speed program. In earnings news, Levi Strauss reported an EPS miss by 2 cents and a revenue miss by $21 million. Revenue was down 62% year over year due to national retail shutdowns, but the company saw a 25% increase in e-commerce sales. On Wednesday, the Dow closed up 177 points, the S&P 500 closed up 24 points, and the Nasdaq closed up 148 points. The markets were moved by the FAANG stocks hitting new highs on the day. The move up in stocks came as the U.S. topped 3 million confirmed COVID-19 cases. In other news that moved the markets on Wednesday, Spotify signed a multi-million-dollar advertising deal with Omnicom Media Group. The stock was up close to 3% on the day. Twitter closed up after a job post for an engineer to build a paid subscription service was spotted. The idea of subscription revenue as a revenue stream for Twitter caused investors to pick up the stock. And in earnings news, Bed Bath & Beyond missed EPS estimates by 64 cents and revenue estimates by $80 million. Revenue was down 49% year over year, and the company announced plans to close 200 stores. On Thursday, the markets closed mixed. The Dow closed down 361 points, the S&P closed down 17 points, but the Nasdaq closed up 55 points, notching its 26th record for 2020. Coronavirus news was responsible for bringing the markets down on Thursday as investors viewed the situation in the U.S. as getting worse. Florida reported 120 deaths on Thursday, and California reported its largest one-day jump in new cases on Thursday. In addition, 1.3 million Americans filed for unemployment benefits last week. In other news, Reuters reported that Coinbase, the American-based cryptocurrency exchange, could go public later this year or early next year. The report states that the company is currently in talks with investment banks and law firms. In earnings news, Walgreens reported an EPS miss by 39 cents, but a revenue beat by $310 million. Revenue grew less than 1% year over year. The company announced it plans to cut jobs, suspend its stock buyback, but increase its dividend payout. The stock was down close to 8%, contributing to the Dow's losses on the day. On Friday, markets bounced back. The Dow closed up 369 points, the S&P closed up 33 points, and the Nasdaq closed up 69 points. The markets were optimistic after Gilead Sciences announced that their COVID-19 treatment remdesivir can reduce the risk of mortality in COVID-19 patients. This was especially good news for investors who were seeing rising cases in the US, Australia, India, and South Korea. Carnival Cruise Line stock was up 10% on Friday after the company reiterated a demand in new bookings for next year. Overall, the markets closed up on the week. The Dow closed up less than 1%, the S&P 500 closed up 1.7%, and the Nasdaq closed up 4% on the week. In crypto news, in the cryptocurrencies we follow, we saw slight increases during the week. Bitcoin closed the week out at $9,247, up 1% from last week. Ethereum finished our week at $240.17, up 6.1% from last week. Litecoin closed out the week up 8% on the week at $44.35, and Ripple closed the week up 5% on the week at 19 cents. Crude oil closed the week out at $40.62 per barrel, up less than 1% from last week. A big winner for the week was Living Health LVGO. The stock was up 45.6% after the company raised its quarterly revenue guidance. A big loser for the week was Centogene CNTG, which decreased 45.7% on the week on news of a proposed primary and secondary offering. That's a wrap for this week's market review. If you want to dig deeper into the headlines we covered, the links to the full stories are in the description below. A link to sign up to our weekend article in focus is also in the description below. And if you're ready to get serious about investing and creating wealth for yourself and your family, check out our latest quarterly newsletter, The Seville Report, serious investment ideas presented in a way that experienced and novice investors can understand. If you're ready to master the markets, check out our newsletter at SevilleReport.com. Thanks again for checking out the Seville Report's market review. This channel is dedicated to anyone who wants to start investing but doesn't know how or where to start. If you have any questions, ask in the comment section, like and subscribe, and may your next investment be your best investment. See you next week.